Hello guys and girls, welcome to another Matura Express stream, English stream. My name is Chris and today we're gonna have a look at the oral exam. As I've mentioned in the introduction of this stream, today we're gonna look at the topic of the oral exam. Especially we're gonna look at study tips and techniques for the A-level, or how to approach your study goals, or your how to learn vocabulary, grammar and all that stuff. I'm gonna be covering today, and I hope that I cover everything so that you can best study 3 months before the English A-level exam. As I've already, no, I didn't mention it, but I've already did a stream on how to summarize for your oral exam, how to summarize texts, and how to study for the oral exam. But today we have some new and some new topics, and some topics I've already treated. But today's overview will look like this. We're gonna start with the overview of the A-level oral assessment criteria. Very important that you know how you are assessed by the examiners. Then I'm gonna show you some tips for creating an effective study plan. Then strategies for improving vocabulary, grammar, and your speaking skills. And at last, strategies for revising content, including topic vocabulary. So we're gonna jump right into the overview of the A-level oral assessment criteria. Very long title. In general, you are assessed in via four criteria, which are basically made up of vocabulary and mode of expression, content, grammar, and pronunciation and intonation. So these four aspects or criteria have a scale from 9 to 5. And for example, the first scale states that you're able to lead a conversation by yourself, and which is ranked the highest, with the highest reachable points. And of course, if you need support from the examiner, it will differ. So that's with the criteria. I'm sorry, there are 5 criteria. With the criteria communication and interaction is, yeah, in this case, if you need support, it will be ranked differently than if you don't need any support and speak completely freely, and you don't have any things you have to think about, or yeah, doesn't matter actually. So that's actually the sheet I have for the criteria, so how you're assessed. That's the Beurteilungsschema. At first it's communication, Then I hope you can see it. Yeah, it's better now. Communication. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the first one is you completely able to lead a conversation, and the worst points or ranking you can get, or assessment basically, is that you can't really communicate, and even with support there is no meaningful conversation happening. Then it's all about the pronunciation and your vocabulary range. Of course, the first one then is you all know the vocabulary that is needed for the level you're assessed in. Then we have the content, so it's very important that you don't talk about different things if you should talk about pollution. So if you talk about advertising and pollution, yeah. So the next criteria, or second to last criteria actually, is grammar. Always the same. You're assessed by the examiner, and with the help of the level you are supposed to be in. So you know there are A1, A2, B1, B2, and there is B1, A1, A1 plus, A2 plus, and so on. Doesn't matter. You should know in which level you have to reach in order to successfully pass the exam, the oral exam. And of course there is intonation and pronunciation. Very important. Then I hope you know it. There are the topics you should know, but those are not the assessment criteria. Anyway, your topics are media, advertising, education, the working world, tolerance, globalization and international trade, environment and pollution, traveling and tourism, sports and recreation, and health and nutrition. But I think those are the topics that are valid from autumn 2018. So since the Monday stream has its A-level exam in February 2019, you've started not in autumn 2018, so you still have 12 topics. So there are 2 topics that are missing on this list, but you have the list anyway, so I don't really have to present it in this stream. But now you basically know how you are assessed and what the criteria are that you have to meet in order to be able to successfully pass the exam. So and if you're aware of those criteria, then I'm sorry, then it is easier for you to study for the oral A-level exam, of course, because if you know how you're assessed, then you can steer in a direction where it's more possible that you're gonna pass the exam. Then the next thing I'm gonna talk about is tips for creating an effective study plan. So maybe you know about study plans, maybe you don't, maybe you heard of it. Basically, at first I want to begin, why do you need a study plan? So maybe you could just start to study or revise the topics, but actually a study plan helps you achieve your goals faster. It helps you to stay focused and helps you to schedule or plan your day, and it helps you to keep an overview, not an overview, of course. That's basically what a study plan is good for, and it helped me in my studies a lot to focus on a goal, even if it's just a daily or a weekly goal. It really helped me to stay focused and not losing my mind over the amount that I had to study. So therefore I wanted to tell you how to create, or how you can best approach the creation of an effective study plan. It is important, as I've already said or mentioned, that you have to set your long and short-term study goals. Write it down, what you want to achieve. Basically, long and short-term goals encompass, for example, if you want to reach, let's say, 2 topics in 2 days or 2 topics in 4 days, depends on how much time you have, of course. In our case, we have 3 months, so you could calculate it easily, but it also depends on how fast you are able to revise or study your exam, your topics. I'm sorry.
Chris, we have a question.
Yes.
It's Patrick Cara.
Could you? I can't read it. It's too small for my.
Read it. Hi, but I don't have a microphone.
But I hear it.
Oh,
yeah, it's okay.
So, hi everybody. It's very interesting that we can have an overview of the criteria for our oral exam that will help us with our preparation. Can we find these criteria online to have another look? So where to find the criteria?
I'm actually not sure if you can find them online, since we've got it from, in our team, we have a shared folder. But I can ask, of course, if there is a possible way to access it, for you to access it. But normally I think you get the criteria at the very beginning of the course, what I can remember. But I'm gonna check and respond to it. I think it's best via YouTube if I found a good possibility to answer this question and to reach out to you in order to send it to you via mail or maybe you can access it, or you have even a printed sheet, but I think it's in the outline of the very first Matura Berufsreifeprüfung course. And of course you can ask your teacher if they would be so nice or kindly to so kind to you that they give you these criteria. Yes, I hope that solved the question. If not, of course I gonna try solving this question. Maybe if you haven't, or even if you haven't been able to reach out to anybody, let us know, and yeah, we'll come back to you. Okay, so the next thing about the study plan basically is create a list of all the topics you have to focus on. Of course, in your case, those are the topics, in this case the 12 topics, that you have to focus on in order to know everything you should know. 12 topics, of course, that's the focus. Divide the topics in several days. You do several topics, so make sure not to have it very compensated, like 12 topics in 1 week. Of course it's possible, but it's very stressful, I think. So the next thing I'm going to want to talk about is that you have to think about the important aspects of each topic. So in order to be able to effectively pick out the not pick out the most important aspects, but to effectively revise the topic, it is important to focus on the most important aspects. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't have a detailed look on the topic, but for example, in pollution, you don't have to know everything, every small little detail. But yeah, basically the most important aspects are the aspects you're treating with the book, or the book treats. So it's very easy to find it out. Just take the book, read the subtopics of every topic, and then you will be fine and you can find out the most important aspects. Then set your priorities concerning the topic. So with priorities, it doesn't mean that you should prioritize a topic just because it's your favorite topic. You should prioritize the topic because or a topic because if the topic if you know that you have a topic that you're really bad in, you should prioritize this topic. Of course, the good ones you just have to maybe revise, but the bad ones, or the ones you're not good at, you should focus on those. But again, you should also focus on every topic. So I'm not telling you to only focus on specific topics. So. And of course, plan or schedule your study time, which basically means plan your day. If you have to go to work, maybe just put in 2 hours a day. If you have more time than 2 hours, maybe 5 or 6 hours. It always depends on how much time you want to put in and how much time, of course, you can you're able to study. So if you have to work or do other things, it's and speaking of other things, also think about your leisure activities. You need your breaks too, so be sure to have small breaks and also think about other things to do. So sports is a really good thing to do or activity to do, but it depends on the type of learner. Everyone is different, so I can't really tell you what is the best thing to do here. You have to find it out by yourself. But of course, having breaks and doing sports or doing outdoor activities in general is a good way to refresh your brain and then get back to your study schedule, or just if it doesn't work out at one day, just skip the day and then start fresh in the next day without drinking in the evening, of course. The next thing I'm going to talk about is strategies for improving vocab. Of course, vocab is, I think, grammar too, are one of those things students really hate. I know that, but I'm sure that it's basically because of how it's been taught so far in the school systems. So vocab in generally depends how you best learn. Maybe you are really into writing your own vocabulary list, or you have your personal booklet, or any app on your smartphone, or just write it down in your notes or something. It doesn't matter. The thing that matters is that you write it down somewhere where you can find it, of course, and try to translate it, but also try to find another expression, so a synonym in English that helps you to remember it better. So maybe you've learned the word leap. A synonym for leap would be jump. So I assume that you know what jump means. So if you know the word jump, leap, okay, you don't have to think in two languages, which is always good because your brain doesn't have to. Your brain doesn't need to switch. Then, I've already wrote it down. If you stumble upon a word or phrase, write it down. Read a lot. Otherwise, you won't be able to find out or come across new vocabulary. So reading, of course, is a good thing to do. Also, watching movies, series, maybe switch on the subtitles so that you can read the actual word, that you already know the correct spelling of the word, and carefully listen to song lyrics. Because with song lyrics, if you listen to them and try to figure out the meaning of a word, the singer might be repeating over and over in the chorus of the song. You can look it up if you have a CD, if you're old-fashioned as me, if you still have CDs, in the booklet of the CD, or just look it up, look the lyrics up on the internet. Yeah, so the same goes, almost the same goes with the strategies for improving grammar. The things you should do: again, surprise, read a lot, watch TV, movies and series, but also look up the things you don't know. If you're not sure about when to use present perfect or how to use it, there are several resources on the internet, in print format, in the library of the university, or in the new city library. So no excuses there. There are a lot of resources you can access in Innsbruck and online. There are apps where you can practice. So practice is a really important thing to do, of course. What I'd recommend, if there is time, try to write an article at least once a week to just get the feeling of using grammar. But also, what you might want to do is listen to podcasts, so you can subconsciously basically learn about different grammar structures, and you don't have to think about how do I form past tense or something like that. Very important, and which helped me as a student to reach my level, or improve my grammar basically. And of course, exchange with your classmates, not classmates. And be sure, maybe there are people, native speakers, they're called native speakers, English native speakers. Somehow you can approach them, and you know how to approach them by visiting the Irish pub near Sovi, which Maria used to do. No, just joking. There are a lot of native speakers basically in the Irish pubs, or maybe you're a tourist guide or something. That's very easy to do this job in Innsbruck, and there will be, someday there will be even native speakers. So, and use every opportunity to speak English. So maybe travel abroad, or try to speak to your friend, girlfriend, husband, whatever, wife, in English. So yeah, that's all about improving grammar. We have another question, or is it just the answer?
It is an answer. Thank you for the quick response. To create a study plan is also helpful to make ends with the English exam and maybe some other exams who are waiting for us in a few months. Yeah, we wish you all the best for it.
Okay, yeah. We're really happy that you enjoy those streams. Be sure to tune in, also to tune in on the other streams. We're doing a lot of, I think, interesting stuff for the oral A-level exam that really help you to better prepare. And of course, it isn't that much work. You have to just watch the streams, or you can listen even to the streams with my soothing voice. It's very relaxing voice. So it's like a whale choir or something. No, just joking again, since today is joking day. No. Improving grammar. We're gonna continue with improving speaking skills. How do we improve our speaking skills, Maria? Try to find a study buddy with which you can exchange. That's the first step you're gonna do. Try to find a classmate that looks good. No. Try to find a classmate that has a lot of knowledge in English. Of course, you should not be, shouldn't be your enemy, but you need somebody, of course, to exchange, to have a talk, to practice the topics, divide those topics you have to study. You don't have to do it all by yourself. And then, of course, speak with each other, not in German, not in English, in English, not in Italian, not in French, or any other language, but in English. And again, try to speak as English as often as possible. Also, try the approach of thinking in English, which also helps a lot, since we tend to, which is normal, we tend to think in our mother tongue. And if you start thinking in English, it will definitely improve your speaking, but also your vocab, your grammar. And of course, speaking also is all about the pronunciation. If you have bad pronunciation, that's not that good if you're in the oral exam. Of course, as you've already seen, pronunciation is also an assessment criteria for the oral exam. So be sure to do to work on your pronunciation if it's already okay. Just get better in it, or if you're not sure about certain words or how to pronounce it, look it up in the oral dictionaries as Merriam-Webster or Oxford Dictionary, so on. Then you can find out how it's pronounced in British and American English. And also, again, watch movies, series, listen to podcasts. It really helps to get the pronunciation right. Some words are difficult, and some tonal ranges, some sounds, not tonal ranges, some sounds are not that easy, especially for native German speakers. But if you put in the work, it will it will turn out great. And we really believe in our online students that they're gonna manage the oral exam or pass the oral exam. So The last thing I'm gonna talk about today is strategies for revising content. There is already a stream on how to summarize your topics for the oral A-level exam. But in this case, we're gonna look at the strategies for revising content. One strategy is to summarize your topic. You can do it or summarize it via mind maps, bullet points, or short written summaries. You should practice the topics and present them to a friend, girlfriend, family, which also helps you to revise the topics all over and over again, which will make you more comfortable during the oral exam. Then highlight the vocab you don't know. Yeah, that's all about the vocab, I'm sorry. Highlight, if we're speaking about the vocab, highlight the vocabulary you don't know in a text, for example, or on a brochure or something. Work with a vocabulary list, I've already mentioned that. Maybe work with index cards, or record the vocabulary to your phone, not to your phone, on your phone, that's wrong, I'm sorry. Or with your phone, so that you can just repeat it all over again. So maybe you can listen to all the vocabulary that you have acquired since you've started doing the Wi-Fi course, I don't know. And then last but not least, practice with a vocabulary app, which is, I think, a great way nowadays to easily acquire a range of vocabulary. Yeah, that's basically it from today's stream. On Wednesday we have the topic how to give a monologue and how to introduce yourself, I think. Yeah, how to give a monologue. Very important for the oral exam too. The stream will be on Wednesday at 7 p.m. with Maria, and she will do a special a special Halloween stream. No pressure. Okay. However, have a nice evening and goodbye.